P and O. Fine. So I'm just mentioning here two statements. Statement number one, blood group is named after antigen. Blood group is named after antigen. This is the concept number one. Second is antigen and antibody. Antigen and antibody. Antigen and antibody could not be seen in blood. Could not be same in blood. Otherwise, it leads to agglutination. And agglutination means what? Antigen and antibody will clump together. Means if blood group has, means the point is that if the blood group has, if the blood has A antigen and A antibody, clear? So this leads to agglutination. If the blood has B antigen and the B antibody, this leads to agglutination. Right? So what we have mentioned here, the blood group is named after antigen, and the antigen and the antibody could not be same in blood group, otherwise it leads to agglutination. And agglutination is what? The same antigen and antibody will clump together, and if the antigen antibody, these two are going to clump together, so ultimately blood is going to lose its value. Blood is going to lose its value, right? And if the blood is going to lose its value, the blood is what? Blood is the river of life, and if the blood is going to lose its value, so ultimately we are not going to be survived, because for the survival of anyone, blood plays the most important role. Blood plays most important role because the blood is transporting oxygen, blood is transporting hormone, blood is transporting food, blood is transporting everything which is required to maintain the sustenance of the life. Right? So these two statements we have mentioned here, and the statement number 3, I am going to elaborate. Just hold it. Don't be panic. We are going to elaborate everywhere. And here, the statement number 3, here, mentioning here, the statement number 3, using blood transfusion. Blood transfusion means blood donation. Suppose if I am a donor and you are a recipient, if you are going to get my blood, that make a sense of the blood transfusion. In blood transfusion, always donors antigen. Hold it. Donors antigen. Donors antigen and and recipient antibody. Recipient antibody is considered. 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 Siddhant, you will be able to get your question, answer of your question. You are going to see, you are going to get the answer of your question when we are going to discuss the chemistry of the blood. Hmm? Blood itself is what? Blood is not a single entity. Blood is a tissue. Blood is a tissue, and blood consists of so many factors, right? So when we are going to elaborate the chemistry of the blood, so you will be able to get the answers. You'll be able to get the answer is what is the role of the IS factor, right? So we are going to discuss this IS factor and the role of IS factor probably after the this time we are talking about the genetics of the blood, then we are going to take the chemistry of the blood, fine. So listen, we have simply made here the three statements. One is the blood group is named after antigen. Second is what? Blood has antigen and antibodies, and antigen antibody could not be seen in the blood, otherwise it leads to agglutination. And the third statement is what? Blood transfusion. In blood transfusion, donors antigen and recipient antibody is considered. Recipient antibody is considered. Right? So listen, if I am coming for the elaboration of what we have done so far. So this blood has two main components. One is plasma. And the second is corpuscles. Are you getting my exception? Please, everyone, respond me fast. Are you getting my exception? Are you getting my exception? Are you getting my exception? Everyone, please let me know at least. बताएं भाई, let me know. Ankit is getting my exception. Sadhana is getting my exception. Ankit, Sadhana, Sushant, Jasna, Rahul, all good. Sushant, Maria, Vinod. Gaurav, we are going to elaborate everything. Gaurav, just hold it. We are going to elaborate these 3 points. We are going to elaborate these 3 points. Asif, hold your question. We are going to elaborate everything. So this plasma, blood has 2 main components. One is the plasma and the second is the corpuscles. Right? Fine. In this plasma, here the corpuscles have RBC, WBC and platelets. RBC, WBC and the platelets. Right? So I am just going to take this RBC here, this RBC. At the surface of RBC, we have antigen protein. At the surface of RBC, we have antigen protein, and these antigen proteins are of two types, A type and B type. While in plasma, we have antibody. An antibody is also protein. And this is what? It's a small a and small b. Fine. Like CAR P U S C L E S. CAR P U S. This S is missing. Corpuscles. CAR P U S C L E S. So blood RBC at the surface of RBC. At the surface of RBC, right, antigen protein is there, and it's two types, and there are two types of antigenic protein. Like suppose if I am just taking this as a example here. This is the 1 unit of the blood. Here, this part is RBC. This part is plasma, right? So at the surface of RBC, there is a provision of antigenic protein, and these proteins are of two types, A type and B type. While video is gone. Video is gone. Class is stopped. Oof. यार ये वीडियो में क्या प्रॉब्लम आ रही है सर? हॉबीज पे लेके आओ ना प्लीज, एक बार फिर से हॉबीज. हाँ हाँ. What I said here, blood has plasma and corpuscles. Right? Blood has plasma and the corpuscles. We are going to elaborate this plasma and the corpuscles later on. Just hold it. We are going to discuss everything in the same session. So point is that here, this corpuscles, there are three different corpuscles: RBC, WBC, platelets. RBC, at the surface of RBC, there is the antigenic protein, and there are two types of antigenic protein as A and B. While in response to the antigenic protein, plasma has antibody, and there are two different antibodies like A and B. So here I have simply mentioned here, and this is the 1 unit of the blood, and this 1 unit of the blood has this RBC, this blood as a unit consists of This is plasma, and the RBC, at the surface of RBC, there's a place for antigenic protein, while against this antigenic protein, this plasma has, this plasma, this is what, it's a plasma, and this plasma has antibodies, and there are two different antibodies like A and B. So, fine. So, antigen is called as, antigenic protein is also called as surface protein. Because it is lying at the surface of, it is lying on the surface of the RBC. While plasma consists of antibody, so the antibody is also called as plasma protein. Right, plasma protein. This antibody consists of plasma protein, and there are two different plasma protein. Fine. So this is all about the antigen and antibody. This is all about the antigen and antibody. And here in the previous slide, statement number 1 is what? Blood group is named after antigen. This first statement is the blood group is named after antigen. Clear? So if I am going to synchronize my statement with the next slide, so see here, it's the blood group, it's the antigen, it's the antibody. There are 4 blood group A, B, AB and O. Right? The blood group is named after antigen. Blood group A is A because there is antigen A. Blood group B is B because there is antigen B. Blood group AB is AB because it has both antigen A and B. And blood group is O because there is no antigen. So the first statement, what we have mentioned here, blood group is named after antigen. The blood group A is A because there is antigen A. B is B because there is antigen B. AB is AB because there is both antigen A and B. And the O is O because there is no antigen. Means O means it shows the absence. It shows the absence position, right? It shows absence position. Fine. So this is the statement number 1. The statement number 2 is antigen and antibody could never be same in blood. Clear? So I told you there are two antigens as antigen A and antigen B, and the two antibodies as antibody small a and antibody small b. Okay? So if this blood group A has antigen A, so it must have antibody B. If blood group B has antigen B, so it must have antibody A. If blood group AB has both antigen A and B, so antibody is absent. And blood group A does not have antigen, so here must be both antibody A and B. This is the simple chemistry of the blood. Right? Yes? Are you able to see me? Can you get my instruction? This is the chart representation of the first, it's a chart representation of the first two, it's a chart representation of the first two statements where the state number one is blood group is named after antigen and the second is the antigen and antibody could not be seen in the blood, otherwise it leads to agglutination. So this question is, this is a clear, fine. And listen, here, this is statement number third is, in the blood transfusion, donor's antigen, in the blood transfusion, donor's antigen is always considered and the recipient antibody is considered. Clear? So in the blood transfusion, we need to consider donor's antigen and recipient antibody. Fine? So listen, in the case of blood group O, O negative, neither antigen nor RH neither antigen nor RH factor. Clear? So this is what it is: universal donor. O negative is universal donor. It's not O positive, because in the case of O positive, antigen is absent, but the RH factor is there. And if we are going to transfuse, so this presence of the RH factor, this could disturb immunity. Yes, it leads to, but there could be the possibility of the abnormality if we are going to transfuse. We are going to transfuse this blood. So always O negative is considered as universal donor, not O positive, and this is because of, right? It is because of the absence of both antigen as well as the RH factor. Okay, I hope you understand. And always universal acceptor, universal recipient is AB positive, because AB positive. Why? Because in the case of AB, there is no antibody, so it is not going to respond. In the case of AB, there is no antibody. AB no antibody, and this positive can take blood from both positive and negative. So if it is A negative, so A negative can take blood only from A negative or from the negative blood group. But if it is A positive, so this can take blood from both positive and the negative blood group. Is the logic behind always AB positive is considered as universal acceptor, while O negative is considered as universal donor. I hope you understand. Okay. Antibodies are always Antibodies are always proteinaceous in nature, and the nature of antibody is always to protect you. In body, we have n number of antibodies. We have different types of antibodies, and these two classical antibodies are especially related to the blood, especially. Otherwise, apart from this, even apart from these two antibodies, what we have mentioned as A and B, Anna, we have so many other antibodies already we have discussed, like mother is also transferring antibodies from mother to newly born baby, and that antibody is the immunoglobulin. So in body we have a number of antibodies, right? These two are classical antibodies, especially in blood, and these antibodies are always against the antigenic protein in blood. Is the logic behind why we mention as a antibodies are respondent protein, because these two types of antibodies are always responded against antigenic protein, and the antigenic proteins are lying at the surface of the RBC. Yes, yes, why not? I am telling here AB positive is universal acceptor. Why? Because suppose if I am AB positive, right? So I am going to take blood from anywhere, and my body will. I am going to take blood from A, B, AB, and O, and my blood is not going to respond antibodies against any kind of the blood, any kind of the blood. So I am going to receive all. I'm going to receive all. I'm going to welcome all types of the blood, right? And suppose that is the AB blood group I have. And even if I have a positive blood group, means AB positive, so I can take blood from A positive, A negative, right? B positive, B negative, AB positive, AB negative, O positive, O negative. Otherwise, if I have only AB, suppose if I have AB negative blood, in that case, I would be able to take blood from only negative blood group. Means that would be, AB negative, O negative, B negative, and the A negative. And for universal acceptance criteria, right, that blood must be able to receive blood from all corners, including both positive and the negative. So that is the reason behind why this AB positive is considered as universal acceptor, and O negative means what? That we could diffuse anywhere, because this O neither has antigenic protein, and the negative means neither has anti-RH protein. So O negative means neither antigenic protein is present nor RH factor is present. So if you are going to transfuse anywhere, right, against this O negative, right, the acceptor body means recipient body is not going to respond. The acceptor body is not going to respond. That makes the sense of O negative is universal donor. Asif Ali Dhar, I am also universal donor. Fine, good. Yes, Riddhima, negative blood group can donate blood to both negative and the positive, because the chance of the complication would be least. But the positive, in the case of positive blood group, the transfusion is restricted only to the positive. Is that clear? Is that clear? Antibodies are always protein. Antibodies are always protein. Siddhant, coming to the point, apart from these two antibodies, plasma has n number of antibodies. Even antibody against COVID-19 is also locating where exactly in the plasma. I am coming to this point. Which blood group is rare and why? That is not the part of this discussion, but even you asked and I am just telling you, right? I'm not going to elaborate. The point is that if I'm going to answer, again you start writing why and where exactly. So I'm not going to elaborate. So the point of the rarity of the blood group is what here? You heard about a blood group. You heard about a blood group, and this blood group is what? This blood group is Bombay blood group. Apart, this Bombay blood group is apart from the ABO blood group. It's a different category, right? This is a different category that we are not supposed to discuss here. And this blood group is what? It is rare blood group. Why rare? Because right, the population size is limited. Means across the world, the dominance is all about the ABO blood group across the world. But apart from the ABO blood group, there are so many other blood groups. And here, the Bombay blood group is the best example. So the Bombay blood group is considered as the rare blood group because of less frequency among the population, and even the transfusion of the Bombay blood group is restricted among the Bombay blood group. Means we cannot make a transfusion of ABO blood group in the Bombay blood group. Not possible. Always the transfusion must be restricted among the blood group. Transfusion must be restricted among the particular blood group. Right? So Bombay blood group is considered as a rare blood group. Only this information is required for you. Narayan, what we have discussed here, always in the time of during the process of the blood transfusion, donors antigen and the recipient antibody is always been considered. That already we have discussed. Okay, fine. So this is all about the blood, the one part of the blood. Again, we are going to elaborate the second part of the blood. This is what? It's a whole blood. It's a whole blood. And when we talk about this blood as a whole, blood is what? It's a fluid, liquid. Connective tissue. Blood is fluid connective tissue. Blood is not a single entity. Blood is not a single entity. Rather, it's a group of a number of cells. So blood is fluid connective tissue, right? And pH of blood is 7.4. pH of blood is 7.4. Okay, and blood has two main components. See here, this is the whole blood. This blood has two main components. This is the component number 1. This is the plasma, which is 55 to 60% of the blood. While the second is formed elements, which is 40 to 45%, and the same is called as corpuscles. Corpuscles, right? So this plasma has, see, this plasma is liquid. This plasma is liquid. It's a fluid in nature. It's a liquid. And this plasma has amino acid. This plasma has nutrients. This plasma has protein. This plasma has nitrogenous phase. This plasma has electrolytes. This plasma has gases. And when we talk about the protein in the plasma, this plasma has a number of proteins. Like the few proteins are mentioned as the albumin, structural protein, fibrinogen, right? It's a clotting protein. Albumin, this albumin is structural protein. Fibrinogen is required for the clotting, Globulin is required for immunity. Globulin is required for the immunity, right? And here, simply, you can say like globulin produces antibodies, different types of antibodies, different types of antibodies, different types of antibodies, different types of antibodies. Hmm? Different types of antibodies. Okay? Right? Fine. So if someone has infected to any kind of the pathogen, like this time we are talking about the coronavirus. So I told you in the lecture number first, coronavirus is acting like pathogen, and the pathogen is always antigenic in nature. So antigen, right? Antigen could be external as well, natural, could be external as well as internal. When we talk about the blood antigen is what? It's a natural system. It's a natural antigen. It's a natural biological antigen. It's a natural biological antigen. While pathogenic infection is what? It's an external antigenic infection. And against this external antigenic infection, body is going to respond antibody, and this antibody is where exactly? In plasma. So why we are talking about once you are getting the clear reception, please let me know. Once you are going to see the clear reception, please let me know. I'm just waiting. Unless you are going to get clear reception, I am not going to continue. Please let me know once you are feeling comfortable. Then you please let me know. I'm just waiting for the confirmation. I'm just waiting for the confirmation. Ankita Negi is saying that all fine. Namrata is saying that all fine. Lavpreet is also saying that all fine. Now it's okay, right? So see here, again I'm repeating. This plasma has a number of antibodies. Plasma has a nature of antibodies. Plasma has number of antibodies, right? And these antibodies are the immunity protein. Fine. So listen, what happens? I am going to be infected through coronavirus. I am going to be infected through the common cold. I am going to be infected through the any kind of the pathogen, right? A pathogen. Against the pathogen, my body start responding in the term of immunity. And when I talk about this immunity is what? It's a naturally induced immunity. And this naturally induced immunity is nothing but it's a herd immunity. It's a herd immunity. And the herd immunity is what? Herd immunity is natural antibody, right? It's a development of natural antibodies in the plasma. Development of natural antibody in plasma against contamination. So I got infected through corona and I recovered, Nikai, because my body started responding antibodies. Means my body has developed antibodies. My body has developed antibodies against corona, and that antibody is suppressing the effect of corona antigen, and I am going to be recovered. And after 28 days, I am going to miss my body will have, my blood will have, my plasma will have that much of antibody, means the amount of the antibody would be maximum at the maximum level after 28 days. 28 days after the infection. After the infection, 28 days after onwards, my body is going to produce sufficient amount of the plasma. In that case, I am going to donate my plasma. And doctor will take my plasma and then doctor will extract antibody. And that antibody is quite effective against corona, and that antibody doctor is going to transfuse that antibody to the corona patient. So that antibody is what? Artificially inserted antibody, and the source of this artificial inserted antibody is the corona survivor, and that antibody is going to suppress the infection of the corona in someone else, right, who is struggling to recover against corona, and right, that man is not able to develop antibody naturally in the plasma. In that case, that man has plasma shot, and the source of this plasma shot is the corona survivor. And the plasma shot means simply it's an antibody shot against corona infection. Nahi, it's not like that. It's a plasma. Listen, plasma. It is not like that. The same amount of plasma is going to be sustained. Listen, the whole blood will be replaced at the duration of 3 months. The longevity of the lifespan of the blood is 3 months. Means now it is 7th or 8th. I think this is the 8th of the May 2021, right? So the amount of the blood with all components what I have this day, after 3 months, the entire blood with all components is going to be replaced. Means it's an ongoing process. Formation and the clearing of the dead material from the body is the ongoing process. It is not like that the same plasma we are going to have forever. Not like that. Neither it's the plasma nor even the components of the RBC, WBC, and even the platelets. Fine. So the entire blood with all components are going to be replaced. Is going to be replaced after 3 months, and that is the reason behind why we do have a provision of the plasma donation 28 days onwards up to the 3 months, because after 3 months your blood is going to be revived. The blood is going to be revived. Clear? So that much of antibody is going to be vanished from your blood, from your plasma, because the entire blood component is going to be changed. And the amount of the antibody in the new plasma will be the least to ensure fighting against the next corona infection. Right? Next corona infection. So that amount will be least. But even that antibody is there in your body, and in the case of coronavirus, in the case of corona infection, if you are going to feel corona infection again, so you have already, your body has preventive mechanism in the term of traces of antibody. So that antibody is going to support you as a first line of defense, and then again your body start responding in the term of right, in the term of new antibodies against the corona infection. Fine, okay. Fine, and the formed elements are, see, erythrocytes means RBC, and the RBC has hemoglobin. Globin. RBC has hemoglobin, and the function of the hemoglobin is oxygen transport. Platelets for the clotting, and the leukocyte means WBC for immunity. WBC for immunity. WBC for immunity. Just leaving this class. Just continuing this class. Thanks to everyone. Good night to everyone. Hannah, we are going